I'm Madrina. I've learned that your trauma can be your triumph, and now I'm dedicated to giving back. Join me on Rolling with Madrina as we spotlight community change makers and show you how you can join their cause. Hi, thank you for watching Blab Television. I'm here in downtown Pensacola talking to game changers and way makers here in our community. And I've got someone for the very first time on Rolling with Madrina with a very personal story. I just want to tell you that my friend here is going to get honest, and she's going to share some personal information about her trauma to triumph story. It's going to include just a little bit about some domestic violence and other hard to hear things, but the story needs to be told because there is triumph at the end, and she's going to talk about the leaders that helped her make it to the other side. Welcome now, Megan Boggs, Boggs Communication.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
So excited to have you here today.
I'm excited to tell you all about the people here, right here in our community, who helped pave a path for me to be a change, to be a leader, and to advocate for change in different systems.
And you are that. You're just all of those things. So I met her originally through some of the work that she did with the Chamber and Leadership Pensacola, but you are a mover and a shaker and a girl about town. So give me just a little bit of personal history about you, who you are, who your mom and them is, where'd you go to school, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I am a proud graduate, Scambia High School, born and raised right here in Pensacola, Florida, at West Florida Hospital in the middle of a hurricane. So if you know me, that explains a lot to you. But I'm proud of where I'm from. I'm proud of being right here.
How many generations? Are you long-term Pensacolian?
So we are not. My family was transplants from up in the New England area. So I laugh all the time that I was raised by New Englanders in the South. So bless your heart when my attitude comes. Is coming.
I love that. That is really good.
Yeah.
Very good. So true local.
Yes.
What have you been doing here in our community? What are some of the jobs that you've held?
Yeah, so when I first started out, I went to Pensacola State College and I waited tables on the beach. I've worked in banking and I've had a lot of fun doing different things. And then when I came back, I had the privilege of working at the Chamber and getting to know a lot of our local businesses and writing grants for different nonprofits and volunteering my time. So during my time away when I was a military spouse, still am a military spouse, we did a lot of really fun things and I got to explore a lot of communities. One of the most important things, though, was always returning to Pensacola. Yeah. This is my home. This is who I am. This is a part of who I am, is this place right here.
Very cool. And are you focusing now on your resiliency speaking and your Boggs communications, or what else are you doing?
Yeah, right now I am focusing a lot on the power of advocacy and making sure that everyone in our community knows that they are a leader and that they are an advocate and why it's important, no matter what title you hold, to be that person to choose community over self.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And you have been so vocal about or transparent about some of the information we're going to talk about today. Yes. What brings you here to share this message?
I think it's important to know that we're not alone, but it's also important to know that leaders in our community change people every day in the simple things that they do. And if it weren't for the leaders who impacted me, I don't know if my path would be as triumphant or successful if it wasn't for those leaders.
Yeah. So as we sort of get into the story, just keep in mind that her whole premise in wanting to share this story is so that it could be a roadmap for others to overcome and to also, I believe, let leaders know what a significant role they can play. Sometimes it's a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen, some profound, wise words or advice, and you dedicate or you say that there are leaders that we're going to speak about that really were instrumental in you overcoming.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Without further ado, give us a little history about your story.
Yeah. So born and raised here in Pensacola, I come from a large, Catholic family. We took up, multiple church pews at St. John's Catholic Church. Father Richard, I was baptized there, my first communion there. This was my home. And I met a handsome sailor and decided that I was going to run away with him. And unfortunately, the devil was handsome. and the devil in my story was handsome. But I didn't know that much about narcissistic abuse and love bombing and what all these things really meant until it was too late and I was in it. Due to ongoing federal investigations, I cannot really speak too much on those, but I want my story really to be about the others along the way. And it's my story, not his, right? And so we aren't going to give him the power of being the star of the story. When I moved away to Washington State, that's where my son was born. Handsome boy. He is now a teenager, so that is a whole different trauma to triumph for all the parents out there that are going through that. I found myself in a situation where I knew I needed to leave. And so
How soon after? So you're newlyweds, and he's in the military.
Correct.
And you're relocated to California.
Correct.
Totally away from the family and the support system you know. How soon was it that he became the monster?
I would say very quickly. So it started in a way where, you know, your friends weren't good enough. Now your family's not good enough. Well, we should have joint bank accounts. So before I knew it, he had control of my social circle and he had control of the money, and now we're married.
What they do, they isolate.
Right. I was literally on Whidbey Island, Washington, isolated away from everything that I knew.
It says, now I'm asking you this because I wanted to ask firsthand. How do you allow it? Because I think somebody's trying to do that to me. I'm like, oh no. I mean, I still have my own checking account to this day, and I'm 20 years with my husband. So how do you allow the release of your power? What happens?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing in all of this, in whether it be romantic relationships, professional relationships, any friendships, two things can be true, right?
Yeah.
They can be charming.
Yeah.
They can be level-headed. They can be cool, calm, and collected. But who they are on the other end can be somebody else. And so at this time, my parents were going through a 30-year divorce. My sister had just been diagnosed with cancer, and my little sister was 17 and pregnant. And so I was the perfect target. Also, if you know me, then you know that I believe truthfully that I'm a Disney princess and everything is magical, and I've been like that my whole life. And so here comes tall, dark, and handsome, I'm going to save you. It was hook, line, and sinker. You know, unfortunately, that was the situation.
Knowing what you know now, do you think that he targeted you, or he knew that you were vulnerable enough, or
Oh yes, yes, I think that very much, so yeah. So, but when I found myself pregnant and married, and it didn't happen overnight, right? There wasn't just a flip of a switch. It was, I'm doing this to protect you, and I love you, and I'm saving you, and before I knew it, 6 months in, I'm already married and pregnant, right? And so now it's slowly getting worse and worse and worse.
And did you believe him at first? Or is it one of those cases where we're love bombing and then it would be ugly, but then he would love bomb, so you think it's never going to happen again, then it does.
Yes.
The next thing you know, you look back, you're like, this has happened 10 times. Like, what are you doing, Megan?
Right.
Like that?
So I would say that yes, a lot. And there was a lot of mental things. But then there was a lot of seed planting, right? Because two things can be true. And so when he was at work, he was cool, calm, and collected, but he was fitting the narrative that I was over emotional, I was a bad communicator, you know, I was these things. And then at home, he'd be poke, 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 poke. So then when we would go out in public and I would snap, well, they saw the reaction of what my nervous system was.
Of course.
To the poke, 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 poke.
Yes. So, and that was all part of his
narrative. Yeah. So
narcissistic?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. You know, not a doctor, but yes. So when it came to the point of I understood that I needed to leave, it was scary to think that where am I going to go from here? Because he controlled the money and I wasn't working and he was going to take care of us. And I found myself in a situation where, how do I do this? And I was able to do that by the grace of God and a lot of grit determination that my son and I were going to know different than this. So I packed him up and we fled, and I made it to Pensacola, which was always going to be home.
And while he was at work,
just
packed, goodbye, headed to work, and you got in the car and hightailed it out of there.
Me and my baby and my dog and whatever I could fit in my car. And so we got home, and I found the cutest little rental. And I found a job serving tables, but I wasn't really making that much money. And that's when I found out that I only had a 460 credit score, that he wasn't actually paying the bills, and he was putting everything in my name. And I was kind of financially in a situation where I didn't really have an income for years, and I didn't have credit, and could I get this house? And I walked in with my baby to this realty office, this local realty office, and I said, I would like to do it, but I'm scared about my credit and these things. And Mr. Larry, may he rest in peace, said, I'm gonna help you. And that was the first time I knew that we were gonna be okay, because I could afford this rental. And I was like, but I know that my income won't show, you know, it won't show these things, but he took a chance on me. And
that was pivotal.
That was pivotal, because we had a safe place in a safe neighborhood to call home, and I had the dignity to provide for my son for the first time.
And your family was here, but you're like,
Yes.
I need my own place.
Yes, yeah. So my family was here, and I think one of the most important things in all of this is one of the last things that he said to me was, you're nothing without me. You're uneducated. You don't have a career. You don't have any money. You know, put me down. Like, you can't do this. You'll be back. I'll get our son. And I looked right at him in the divorce hearing and said, you're going to watch me win.
Yeah.
And that's where I was wrong.
Oh.
So we'll get to that.
All right. Part 2. We'll be right back.
Do you want to create but don't know where to start? Our new fabric line will inspire you. If you can dream it, we can help you make it. From using kits that include everything you would need, to taking classes to create something more personalized, Daryl's is the place for you. No matter if you're just beginning or experienced, Daryl's has you covered. Find us at 6705 North Davis Highway, open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Bramer.
And I'm Charlie Hobart.
You can tune in Fridays at 5:30 on Blab TV for Wahoos Weekly, your weekly in-depth look at the Pensacola Blue Wahoos on the field and off.
We'll be talking to players and highlighting initiatives in the community that make Pensacola so special.
And when the Blue Wahoos are here at home, it leads right into live game coverage from Blue Wahoo Stadium. That's Wahoos Weekly, Fridays at 5:30
on Blab TV.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quince Dieter, and I am Blab TV.
Wow, Sir Richard's is a great place to watch the game.
What? I'm sorry. I don't think I remember his name. It might have been Richard.
Are you missing out on voices and sounds around you? Do you answer people without understanding what was said? You may have a hearing problem.
Wow, home run!
What? Of course I'm having fun.
Call Reesburg Institute today and schedule your appointment for your hearing evaluation. Clearly, better hearing is a game changer.
Welcome back. We're talking to Megan Boggs of Boggs Communication, and she's sharing her personal story of trauma to triumph and so much. So sis, in that first half, you told us about some heavy stuff you'd been through.
Yeah, it's important that we talk about it. I've learned a lot that it's important that we come out and turn our pain into purpose of why it happened. And so I left off saying that one of the last things I said to him was, watch me win. And I was a little bit wrong in that, and there's a reason behind it. I finally left the position of the place I was waiting tables, and so now I'm in this rental, and I'm safe, and I'm putting Walmart furniture together, and it's still not
happy.
It's happy. We're happy, but it's not enough. And I ended up getting a job at Hub Stacy's at Inner working for Donna Stacy, and Kelly Ring was my manager. And there was one point where the only money that I had was for food for my son. And it came to a point where I was only eating meals during my shifts. And at some point I realized that I would go to pay the tab and the tab would be gone. And then I started to realize that maybe Donna knew a little bit more than she wanted to lay it on. It was all a pivotal moment for me. One night I lost it. I was so busy winning. Look what I can do. I don't need you. I can do this. That I never really took the time to heal or process what I was going through in these moments. And I found myself at 2 a.m. tired, hungry, and on a bathroom floor, and I just let out noises.
Exhausted mentally.
Right. I had just lost it. And so I grabbed the towel above me, and I lost so much of me, noises that I didn't know that my body could make.
Wailing, just deep wailing sounds.
It was very scary and very awful. And I realized that I had 3 options. I could call my mom and tell her I need to move back home, but then she would know that I wasn't telling the truth, that I was really struggling, and my mom's a little scary, and I didn't want
Now, did she
that.
know the story and what you had fled from and all of that?
Some, but I hadn't fully been as honest, because I was gonna win. I was just gonna do it. I was gonna be fine. And then I could call him and say, I can't do it. You are right. I'm uneducated. I can't do these things. Or I could get the hell up off this bathroom floor. And I swear it was my grandmother from heaven, who was a very strong Italian woman, and I could hear her clear as day. Megan, get up.
That was your angel.
That was my angel. And so I did, and I practiced this speech all night long. And I went into Hub Stacy's, and Donna and Kelly were smoking a cigarette out back. And I gave them this whole speech that I had practiced about why I need to learn business and be a manager and have a code and all these things. And Donna leaned back in her chair and kind of smiled. And Kelly took a long drag of her cigarette, and they looked at me, and Kelly said, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I practiced that. That was good." And she said, "You were always worth it. You just had a lot going on." And it was in that moment that I realized that my need to win took away my ability to heal. And what I should have said to him was, "Watch me heal. I will overcome this because I will heal from the things that you did, not from the things that I deserved." And so it was a pivotal moment. Months go by, I'm learning
Another
business.
person. So now he gives you a place to live, and then they speak empowerment into you.
Right here in Pensacola. It's been a decade since those moments, but one of the biggest moments for me is I fell in love with a Marine, and I was gonna get married. And I had to give up the key. Now I'm gonna move away again. And I was so scared.
But how nice of you not to give up on love. I mean, you could have been scared and said, "I'm never going to have another husband again."
Right. He kind of convinced me. I'll give him that. He kind of told me that I'm running away with him. And I stood in the driveway of that little house and went to give Mr. Larry back that key. And he said, "You did such a good job with the house." And I said, "Yeah, I did all this." And he goes, "You were worth it." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "You were worth the risk." Well, what risk did you take? That's when I found out that there was a active duty family and a group of pilots and me.
Applied for that house.
I applied for that house. And he put his neck on the line to say, "Give it to this mom." He changed my life. Donna and Mr. Larry are no longer with us, but I often think of them and talk about them because I have gone on to touch hundreds of thousands of lives in the nonprofits that I've worked at.
Yeah.
I have raised millions of dollars, all because somebody said in my bathroom floor moment, "You are worth it." They stood up and believed. And they didn't know that that was going to be my path. They didn't know that I was being abused or that these things were happening. They just looked at me as leaders in our community and said, "I know you're worth it." And so going forward, there's a lot of misconceptions sometimes too with my story, that maybe I'm angry with, the Navy, or I'm angry with these things, but
well, what if you were? Who could blame you?
Right.
And so what? And the part about being angry with the Navy is because you kept calling for help and complaining and calling for help. And again, this is an investigation, but there was no help.
Right. I did call several times, and I did make those reports, but you have a choice as a leader. And that's one thing that I've learned so much, is that you have a choice. You can choose to be angry with everyone. You can choose that. Or you can say, "I will not discriminate against the good guys in the room because
Why do you
of the
think
bad
that
one."
they weren't answering your calls? Did they
they
believed his persona?
I think two things can be true, right? I think two things can be true. And I think, when it all comes out, it's wild and it's crazy. And I think that sometimes systems fail. And
a lot of times they do.
That's a thing that this isn't a military problem. It's 1 in 4 women, 1 in 5 men, 1 in 3 children.
That's
this
the
is
women
not,
that are in this studio.
That's right. There's three women in this studio.
And one of them have been.
Yep, and one of them.
If not more.
Right. You don't ever know. And so I think that needs to be clear that this is not a military problem. This is an epidemic in our societies in general. And so one thing that's important to understand is that you cannot look at all the leaders in the room and say, because this one is a bad apple, I trust none of you.
Right.
Or what you can do is believe that there is good and there is a leader waiting for you. And when that moment happens, you pull up a chair and you say, this is what happened to me. And you can be the change.
Right.
You can either buck the system and hate it, or you can make sure that you protect the next one.
And now you can be that leader reaching out to those who need it and saying, you're worth it, and I see your value.
Yes.
And it can be a trickle down.
It's the most important thing because, again, nobody knew in those moments the success that I would have. But it was all because the good leaders in the room knew that I was a good person. And you cannot allow those with an evil spirit to change who you are.
Right.
And let me tell you something, okay? We talked about this earlier. If you are a leader and you look at someone in the eye and say, I'm going to protect you, and you are in the power to protect them, and you turn around and do the opposite after they believed you, there is no church pew Hail Mary that's going to save you from the contract that you just signed with karma. It took a long time for my ex-husband to be arrested, but you can bet she came to cash in. And so that's important to understand, is that you cannot allow those who didn't protect you to change who you are. And advocacy, anyone can do it, right?
So where are you at now? So now we know that you've told your story, you finally have gotten some attention. He's behind bars, pending a trial. Where are we, and where's the case, and where is Megan now?
Yeah, I think that, listen, being an advocate is being truthful and honest. There are some days that Megan can't get out of bed because it is heavy. There are some days where I am winning. There are some days I'm in front of a camera. That is all okay, and I think that's important to tell the story of the truth of advocacy, right, is the vulnerability. There are some days that you feel on top of the world, and there are other days where you're like, man, this is our story. I think the other part of this is understanding that everyone in our community is a leader and an advocate. So no, you might not have been through something that I've been through, and thank God, because I never want you to walk a mile in my shoes. But you can like a comment, you can share, you can look at what affordable housing did to me and follow Pensacola Habitat for Humanity. You can support each other. You might not be able to attend these galas, but you can follow them on social media. You can make sure you're interacting with posts. You can give the algorithms. Everyone in our community has the ability to be an advocate and to share stories and moments and resources and to love one another, because you have no idea the person that you're looking at and saying, you're worth it, and you have no idea what they're going to become and what they're going to do in that moment.
Are you available for public speaking for organizations who would like to have you come and speak with their members?
I am. So I have reached out, I've been reaching out to, I have spoken to very large groups, I've spoken to small groups about leadership and the triumphs of leaderships and the different leaders. We only talked about 2 leaders here who built me, but there's a plethora of mentors that really helped me along the way.
Me too.
And so I have gone out and I do resiliency speaking and the importance of leadership and believing in someone. And you know, if someone's in their bathroom floor moment, sit with them, because when they get up, they might just do some incredible things.
They will do incredible things.
That's
I can
right.
assure you, I'm that living, walking, breathing testimony myself. So sis, just a few minutes now left in the entire show. What I'd like for you to speak about is, in hindsight, the signs that you saw, what would you have done earlier on? Because I think people they're embarrassed that they're being abused and they don't want to call home and say, what would you say now to someone who's in that same position that you were?
I would say that this is not your fault. This is not a reflection of you or your love or your worth. Those who choose to do awful things behind closed doors, to pretend or project whatever issues they have, are not a reflection of you. Get help, find the resources, know that you're not alone, and know that you should never be embarrassed about the evil that others have done unto you. That is their weight to carry, not yours.
And to leave sooner than later?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the resources and availability to get out, leave. It can be scary. It can be a bit traumatic. It can be overwhelming. We have great resources right here in our community.
Can you ramble off just a couple?
Favor House is incredible, right? You have survivor-led solutions. There are great ones that we can provide you with a list of. Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, affordable housing. If you're finding yourself in the need for safe, affordable housing, they're incredible. And make sure that you're eating local and shopping local. Where would I be without Donna Stacy?
Right.
Hub Stacy's at the point. Go support our local community because you have no idea where that money is going and where it's staying and where it's providing for.
Well, thank you for coming here and sharing your story, sis. Are you going to write a book about all this? Are you in the midst of a book?
I am currently writing a book called You, Me, and the Bathroom Floor, and it is really a love letter. It's a love letter to those who believed in me because I don't know where I'd be without them.
Yeah, same here.
So,
yeah. And so now we turn around and we put our hand back for those behind us.
That's right.
And help them come up as well.
That's right, and it makes the pain worth it.
Yeah.
If what I went through was for, I'm Catholic, for St. Peter to turn around and say, what did you do with the voice I gave you? I want to be able to be at those pearly gates and say, I made sure that I used it for good and integrity and that I stayed true to who I was and that I helped others along the way.
That's what we're supposed to do with our purpose, our God-given purpose.
That's right.
Thank you, sis. Love you so much. Thank you for coming here and rolling with Madrina. And thank y'all for watching our show today. If you are someone that finds herself in a sticky situation like Megan spoke about, please reach out to your friends, your leaders, to the organizations she mentioned here today. You can even find her on Facebook. You can find Rolling with Madrina on Facebook. If you need to send a message that says, hey, I'm in a bad way and I need help getting out, we'll both help you. And thank you for watching Rolling with Madrina.